7 years. 7 years of marriage, of building a life together, of believing in forever. Amber was my everything, my best friend, my partner, my soulmate. We had the kind of love people write songs about, the kind that makes you believe in happy endings. But then she came to me with a request that changed everything. She wanted to take a 2-week trip with her ex-boyfriend to find herself. And I said the one word that would either save our marriage, or destroy it completely. I said perfect. What happened next? Nobody saw it coming. Not her ex, and definitely not me. This is the story of how everything fell apart and how I discovered the truth about the woman I thought I knew. My name is Thomas. I'm 32 years old. I'm a software engineer. I work from home most days. My life was simple, predictable, comfortable. Until the day my wife Amber walked into my home office and turned my entire world upside down with one conversation. It was a Tuesday evening. I remember because I always finish my weekly reports on Tuesdays. Amber walked in with that look on her face. You know the look. The one that says, I need to talk to you about something serious. My heart sank immediately. In 7 years of marriage, you learn to read your partner. You learn their expressions, their body language, their tone of voice. And I knew whatever was coming wasn't good. She sat down on the chair across from my desk. Her hands were trembling slightly. Thomas, we need to talk, she said. Her voice was soft, almost apologetic. I closed my laptop and gave her my full attention. My mind was racing. Was she sick? Was something wrong with her family? Was she unhappy? I never could have guessed what was actually coming. She took a deep breath and said, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about who I am and what I want from life. I love you, Thomas, I really do. But I feel like I lost myself somewhere along the way. I got married so young. I never really got to explore who I am as an individual. I never got to be free. I never got to just exist without being someone's girlfriend or someone's wife. I nodded slowly. I understood what she was saying, at least I thought I did. Okay, I said. What do you need from me? What can I do to help you find yourself? I was ready to support her. Ready to give her space. Ready to go to therapy. Ready to do whatever it took to make our marriage work. That's when she dropped the bomb. I want to take a trip, she said. A 2-week trip, just me, alone. Well, not exactly alone. My ex-boyfriend Marcus reached out to me a few months ago. We've been talking, just as friends, I swear. He's going through a similar thing in his life. He's also feeling lost and confused. And he suggested that we take a trip together. Just the two of us. To reconnect with ourselves, and figure out what we really want. The room went silent. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. I could hear the distant sound of traffic outside. But I couldn't hear my own thoughts. They were too loud, too chaotic, too overwhelming. Your ex-boyfriend, I finally said. You want to take a 2-week trip with Marcus? The guy you dated for 3 years before me. The guy you told me was the love of your life before you met me. That Marcus? She nodded. Yes, that Marcus. But Thomas, it's not what you think. This isn't about romance, or rekindling old feelings. This is about self-discovery. This is about healing. This is about becoming whole again, so I can be a better wife to you. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I didn't know what else to do. So let me get this straight, I said. You want to go on a romantic getaway with your ex-boyfriend for 2 weeks and you expect me to believe it's just about finding yourself. Do you hear how insane that sounds? She reached across the desk and grabbed my hand. Thomas, please, she said. Her eyes were filling with tears. I need this. I need to do this. If I don't, I'm going to spend the rest of my life wondering what if. I'm going to resent you. I'm going to resent our marriage. I'm going to resent myself. Please just trust me. Please just let me do this. And that's when I made the decision that changed everything. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, perfect. Go. Take your trip. Find yourself. Do whatever you need to do. I won't stop you. She blinked in surprise. Really? You're okay with this? You're not going to fight me on this? I shook my head. Nope, you're a grown woman, Amber. You can make your own decisions. If you think spending 2 weeks with your ex is what you need to find yourself, then who am I to stand in your way? Go ahead. Have fun. Find yourself. She smiled. A huge, genuine smile that broke my heart into a million pieces. Oh, Thomas, thank you, she said. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to me. You're the best husband in the world. I promise, I'll come back to you. I promise this will make our marriage stronger. She kissed me on the forehead and practically skipped out of my office. I sat there in stunned silence staring at the closed door. What had I just done? Had I just given my wife permission to cheat on me? Had I just destroyed my own marriage? Or had I done something else entirely? The truth is, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Amber thought she was pulling one over on me. She thought I was some naive, trusting husband who believed her ridiculous story about self-discovery. But I wasn't naive. I wasn't stupid. And I definitely wasn't going to sit around and wait for her to come back and tell me she wanted a divorce. No, I had a plan. And it was going to be perfect. The next morning, Amber was like a completely different person. She was energetic, excited, glowing. She spent the entire day shopping for new clothes, new swimsuits, new everything. She was planning this trip like it was her honeymoon. She didn't even try to hide it. She would show me outfits and ask for my opinion. She would talk about all the places she and Marcus were planning to visit. She would gush about how amazing this was going to be for her mental health and emotional well-being. I smiled and nodded and played the part of the supportive husband. But inside I was already 3 steps ahead. That evening, after Amber went to bed, I called my lawyer. His name is David. We went to college together. He's been my friend for over a decade, and he's the best divorce attorney in the state. David, I said, when he picked up, I need your help. My wife is about to cheat on me, and I need to make sure I'm protected. He listened as I explained the entire situation. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Thomas, this is either the dumbest thing you've ever done, or the smartest. I'm not sure which. But if you're serious about this, if you really want to go through with it, then here's what we need to do. He laid out a plan. We would document everything. Every text message, every phone call, every social media post. We would gather evidence of her infidelity. We would make sure that when the divorce happened and it would happen, it would come out on top. I would get to keep the house, the cars, the savings, everything. Because in our state, infidelity matters in divorce proceedings. And Amber was about to hand me all the evidence I needed on a silver platter. The next week was torture. Amber was counting down the days until her trip like a kid waiting for Christmas. She was so excited, so happy, so oblivious. She had no idea what was coming. She had no idea that I was documenting everything. She had no idea that I had already started the process of protecting my assets. She had no idea that our marriage was already over. Finally, the day came. Marcus picked her up in his fancy sports car. He was exactly what I expected. Tall, handsome, confident. The kind of guy who thinks he can have anything he wants. The kind of guy who has no problem trying to steal another man's wife. He didn't even have the decency to look ashamed when I opened the door. He just smiled and said, "Hey man, thanks for being cool about this. Amber's lucky to have such an understanding husband." I smiled back. "Yeah," I said. "She sure is. You two have fun now. Be safe." Amber hugged me tightly. "I love you, Thomas," she whispered in my ear. "I'll be back before you know it. And everything will be better. You'll see." I watched them drive away. I watched my wife leave with another man. I watched her choose him over me. And I felt absolutely nothing. No sadness. No anger. No regret. Just cold, calculated determination. Let the games begin. For the first few days, Amber texted me constantly. She sent me pictures of the beach, the hotel, the restaurants they visited. She told me how much fun she was having, how relaxed she felt, how good it was to be free. She said she missed me. She said she loved me. She said she couldn't wait to come home. I responded to every message with short, supportive replies. "That's great, babe. I'm so happy for you. Miss you too. Have fun." Each message was carefully crafted to make her feel secure, to make her think I was still the naive, trusting husband she married. But then something changed. Around day 5, the messages started to slow down. She stopped sending pictures. She stopped telling me about her day. Her responses became shorter, more distant. And then on day 7, she stopped responding altogether. I knew what was happening. She had finally given in to whatever was brewing between her and Marcus. She had finally crossed the line. And she was too guilty, or too caught up in the moment to keep up the charade. Perfect. That was exactly what I needed. While Amber was off having her little affair, I was busy. I met with David twice more. We finalized the divorce papers. We gathered all the evidence we needed. Text messages showing her planning the trip with Marcus. social media posts that she thought were private, credit card statements showing purchases of lingerie and romantic outfits, phone records showing hours of calls between her and Marcus in the months leading up to the trip. I also did something else. Something I'm not entirely proud of, but something that needed to be done. I hired a private investigator. His name was James. He was expensive, but he was good. I sent him to the resort where Amber and Marcus were staying. His job was simple. Get photos. Get videos. Get undeniable proof of what was happening. And he delivered. The photos came in on day 9. Amber and Marcus walking hand in hand on the beach. Amber and Marcus kissing by the pool. Amber and Marcus entering his hotel room together late at night. Every single photo was a knife in my heart, but also a piece of ammunition for the war that was coming. On day 12 I got a text from Amber. "Thomas, I need to tell you something. Can we talk when I get back? It's important." I knew what was coming. She was going to ask for a divorce. She was going to tell me she had fallen back in love with Marcus. She was going to try to let me down easy to make it seem like this was a mutual decision, like we had just grown apart. But she had no idea I was already 10 steps ahead. "Sure, babe," I replied. "We can talk when you get back." Looking forward to it. The day she came home, I was ready. I had moved all of my important belongings out of the house and into a storage unit. I had changed the passwords on all of our joint accounts. I had transferred half of our savings into a separate account, in my name only. I had done everything David told me to do, to protect myself. When Amber walked through the door, she looked different. Her hair was messier. Her skin was more tan. Her eyes were brighter. She looked like a woman who had just spent 2 weeks having the time of her life. She looked like a woman who had completely forgotten about her husband. "Thomas," she said. "We need to talk." I nodded. "I know. Come sit down." We sat in the living room. The same living room. Where we had spent countless evenings watching movies, cuddling on the couch. Talking about our future. It felt like a lifetime ago. "Thomas, I don't know how to say this," she began. "But I think I made a mistake. I thought this trip would help me find myself. I thought it would make me appreciate what we have. But instead it made me realize that I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. And I don't think I can do this anymore. I want a divorce." I looked at her calmly. "Okay," I said. "If that's what you want, then I won't fight you on it." She looked surprised. "Really? You're just going to accept it? You're not going to try to save our marriage?" I shook my head. "Amber, you just spent 2 weeks having an affair with your ex-boyfriend. You stopped responding to my messages. You clearly chose him over me. What exactly is there to save?" Her face went pale. "How did you know?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the photos. All of them, every single one. I watched as her face went from pale to red. I watched as tears started streaming down her cheeks. I watched as she realized she had been caught. "Thomas, I can explain," she said. "It wasn't supposed to happen. It just did. Marcus and we just connected. We have history. We have chemistry. I didn't mean to hurt you." I held up my hand to stop her. "Save it, Amber. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear about your connection with Marcus. I don't want to hear anything. I just want you to sign these." I handed her the divorce papers. She stared at them in shock. "You already had these prepared," she said. "You were planning this the whole time. You knew what was going to happen." I nodded. "Of course I knew. You didn't actually think. I believed your ridiculous story about finding yourself, did you? You didn't actually think. I was okay with you going on a romantic vacation with your ex-boyfriend. I'm not an idiot, Amber. I knew exactly what you were doing, and I let you do it. Because I knew it would give me everything I needed to end this marriage on my terms." "But why?" she asked. "Why didn't you just stop me? Why didn't you fight for us?" I looked at her with more sadness than anger. "Because Amber, you made your choice the moment you asked to go on that trip. You chose Marcus over me. You chose your own selfish desires over our marriage. And honestly, I deserve better than that. I deserve someone who chooses me every single day. Someone who doesn't need to go running back to their ex to figure out if they're happy. I deserve a real partner. And you're not that person." She was sobbing now. "Thomas, please. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Please give me another chance. I love you. I choose you." I shook my head. "No, Amber. You don't get to come back now. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. You made your bed. Now you have to lie in it. Sign the papers." She picked up the pen with shaking hands. "What about the house? What about our savings? What about everything we built together? I smiled coldly. Well, that's the interesting part. See, in our state, infidelity is taken very seriously in divorce proceedings. And thanks to your little vacation, I have more than enough evidence to prove that you cheated, which means I get to keep the house. I get to keep most of our savings. I get to keep almost everything. You'll get what the law requires me to give you, and not a penny more. Her eyes widened. You can't do this. This isn't fair. I laughed. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when you asked to go on vacation with your ex? Was it fair when you stopped responding to my messages? Was it fair when you cheated on me? No, Amber. This is exactly what's fair. This is what you deserve. She signed the papers. She didn't have a choice. She knew I had her backed into a corner. She knew she had no way out. After she signed, I stood up. You have 1 week to move out, I said. Take whatever personal items you want, but everything else stays. And Amber, I never want to see you again. I never want to hear from you again. As far as I'm concerned, this chapter of my life is closed. She looked up at me with tears streaming down her face. What about Marcus? Are you going to tell him about this? Are you going to ruin things between us? I smiled. Oh, I don't need to do anything. Marcus will figure it out on his own soon enough. See, the thing about guys like Marcus is they don't actually want the wife. They want the conquest. They want the thrill of stealing another man's woman. But once they have her, once she's free and available, they lose interest. Give it a few months, Amber. You'll see what I mean. I walked out of that house and I never looked back. 3 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Amber and Marcus had broken up. Apparently he got back together with his own ex-girlfriend. Apparently, he was never serious about Amber. He just wanted to see if he could still have her. And once he proved that he could, he moved on. Amber tried to reach out to me after that. She sent me long emails, apologizing, begging for another chance, telling me she made the biggest mistake of her life. I never responded. I blocked her on everything. I deleted her from my life completely. 6 months after our divorce was finalized, I met someone new. Her name is Rachel. She's kind, compassionate, loyal, everything. Amber wasn't. She chooses me every single day. She makes me laugh. She makes me feel appreciated. She makes me feel loved in a way I never felt with Amber. We've been dating for a year now, and I've never been happier. Sometimes I think about that day when Amber asked to go on that trip. I think about what would have happened if I had said no. If I had fought for our marriage. If I had tried to stop her. Would things have turned out differently? Would we still be together? But then I realize it doesn't matter. Because Amber showed me who she really was that day. She showed me that when things got hard, when she felt lost, when she needed to find herself, her first instinct was to run to another man. Her first instinct was to betray me. And that's not the kind of person I want to spend my life with. People ask me if I regret saying perfect that day. If I regret letting her go on that trip. And my answer is always the same. No, I don't regret it at all. Because that trip didn't ruin my marriage. It just revealed what was already broken. It just exposed the truth that Amber and I were never meant to be. And it gave me the chance to start over with someone who actually deserves me. So to anyone out there who's going through something similar, to anyone whose partner is asking for space or time or freedom to find themselves, I'll give you the same advice I wish someone had given me. Let them go. Don't fight it. Don't beg. Don't plead. Because if someone truly loves you, they won't need to find themselves with someone else. They won't need to explore their options. They won't need to test the waters to see if there's something better out there. If someone truly loves you, they'll choose you. Every single day. No matter what. And if they can't do that, then they're not worth your time. They're not worth your energy. And they're definitely not worth your tears. Let them go. And trust that something better is waiting for you on the other side. Because it is. I promise you it is. As for Amber, I heard she's still single. Still searching for whatever it is she thinks she's missing. Still trying to find herself. I hope she does eventually. I hope she figures out what she wants from life. I hope she finds happiness. Just not with me. Never with me again. My story with Amber is over. That chapter is closed. And I'm okay with that. More than okay, actually. I'm grateful. Because losing her led me to Rachel. Losing her led me to real love. Losing her led me to the life I was always meant to have. So yeah, when Amber said she wanted to take a 2-week trip with her ex to find herself, and I said perfect, I knew exactly what I was doing. I was setting myself free. I was choosing myself. I was taking control of my own destiny. And that was the best decision I ever made. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is walk away. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is say goodbye to someone who doesn't appreciate you. That's what I did. And I've never looked back. This is my story. This is how I went from being a heartbroken husband to a man who knows his worth. This is how I learned that sometimes perfect is the only answer you need to give. Because sometimes perfect isn't about making things work. Sometimes perfect is about letting them fall apart so something better can begin. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real relationship stories. And comment below what you would have done in my situation. Would you have said perfect? Would you have fought for your marriage? Or would you have done something completely different? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember to always choose yourself first. Because you deserve someone who chooses you, too.